I was ripped from sleep at 2 a.m. by the one sound every solar engineer dreads: the surge alarm blaring from my grid console like a siren in a horror movie. Half asleep, I stumbled out of bed, stared at the inverter screen, and saw a rogue 12-kilowatt spike, 4 times my usual nighttime draw, all traced to my outdoor port. Furious, I yanked on a jacket, grabbed a flashlight and my phone, and stormed outside. Under the moonlight sat a sleek black Tesla Model S, hooked right into my private solar charger. Standing next to it, arms folded like she ruled the neighborhood, was none other than Linda, from the HOA. She smirked, cool as ice. "Your charger's free at night. I'm just cutting costs." I stood there, stunned. Was this a bad dream? This was real. And at that moment, something snapped inside me, seeing just how deep human entitlement could go. I'm an electrical systems engineer. I built that entire solar grid from scratch. Every panel, every battery, every line meticulously designed. It wasn't just about electricity. It was my freedom. And here was Linda, who once tried to fine me over unsightly solar panels, helping herself like it was some public outlet. My system was secure, but I never anticipated HOA-level audacity. I'd first met Linda at an HOA meeting where she claimed the treasurer's seat unopposed, a red flag we all ignored. She quickly crowned herself Director of Community Standards, throwing fines around like confetti, mailboxes too blue, driveways too messy, lawns too lush. Most neighbors gave in. I didn't. When I installed a battery unit behind my fence, city approved, perfectly legal, Linda called it a visual blight and demanded I move it. I showed her my permits, told her my off-grid system was untouchable, and thought it was over. It wasn't. That night, seeing her Tesla feeding off my power flipped everything. I asked, "Are you serious?" "You can't just tap my private grid, Linda." She smirked. "It's outside your house. In a community, resources are shared." I wanted to scream. To her, my carefully built grid was just a public charger. She even added, "You should thank me for going green." I didn't yell. I didn't unplug her car. I went inside, pulled the logs, 78% battery drain in 5 hours, and checked my cameras. There she was, sneaking in on multiple nights, plugging in like it was a free gas station. This wasn't a one-time fluke. This was theft. The next day, I confronted her at her door. I offered to let it go if she paid a fraction of what she'd stolen. I handed her the printouts. She scoffed. "Pay for sunlight? Please," and slammed the door. Then, insult to injury, she filed an HOA complaint accusing me of hoarding renewable energy, claiming her position gave her rights to external utilities. My patience snapped. "No more Mr. Nice Engineer." I spent nights rigging a decoy port, harmless but rigged to fry her charger with an unstable surge loop the moment she plugged in. Legal, safe for the car, but a clear message. By Friday, it was hidden behind a panel labeled Private Grid. Do not use. I knew Linda would ignore it. Saturday, 1:50 a.m. The console pinged. The cameras lit up. Linda in sweatpants, humming, plugging in. Seconds later, spark. Her Tesla fizzed, lights flickering, a sharp hiss as she tumbled onto the grass screaming, "It's broken!" The car went dead. I smiled. The electrical war had begun. Morning brought Linda, furious, pounding on my door, flanked by 2 HOA members, Greg in flip-flops and Susan looking uncomfortable. Her Tesla loomed behind them, charger scorched. "You sabotaged my car!" she shrieked. Greg mumbled about last night's incident. I handed them a folder, timestamps, video stills, proof of her theft. Pointing to the camera footage, I quoted her, "I figured I'd save a few bucks." Greg paled. Susan shifted awkwardly. Linda snapped, "It was outside. No lock." She threatened to file an HOA sabotage complaint. I shrugged. "You ignored warnings and tripped a decoy port. That's on you. But let's talk about my battery damage." She stormed off, calling for an incident response. Days later, an HOA notice arrived, citing me for hazardous equipment. I laughed and fired back a counter-complaint. My lawyer, an absolute pit bull in property law, reviewed the footage and logs, confirming trespass, theft, defamation. His advice: corner her legally before she spins this further. So I did. Spikes, videos, her own words, packaged and sent in a cease and desist to both her and the HOA. For flair, I put up a solar-powered sign. Private energy zone. Trespassers fried legally. Stop stealing sunlight, Linda. It glowed all night. Impossible to miss. And it lit a fuse. By Sunday, the teens across the street leaked the Tesla spark footage online, dubbed Linda's Electric Karma. 3 million views. It showed her plugging in, then flailing as sparks flew, my warning sign blazing behind her. She became a meme. Her HOA reign crumbled overnight. Neighbours thanked me. One dropped off a bottle of whiskey. "You're our avenger," he grinned. At the HOA emergency meeting, I laid it all out. Logs, footage, warnings. Linda whined about community access. The board wasn't buying it. They suspended her, voided her violation claims, suggested she apologize. She hissed, "This isn't over." Oh, but it was only just starting. Linda went rogue. My solar panel casings, scratched. Cameras caught her at 3 a.m., dressed in black, fumbling at my lock, swearing when her tools slipped. She flipped off the camera. I sent the video to my lawyer. Called Deputy Ortiz, who chuckled, "Guts. No sense." He logged it as trespassing and vandalism. Next day, a news crew arrived. Miles Tate with his cameraman. Linda had called the press. I showed them everything. Permits, footage, logs, including Linda's failed pry job. The cameraman muttered, "She thought this was hers?" The segment aired. Balanced. Fair. The anchor joked, "The sun's free, but the grid isn't." Linda's interview was priceless, twitchy, cornered. Neighbours switched sides. Notes showed up on my porch. "Thanks for stopping her." Memes exploded on the HOA's Facebook page. My favourite, Linda's voltage of shame. The HOA voted 38-2 to boot her for good. Only she and her husband dissented. Her broken Tesla sat unmoved, a bumper sticker slapped on. "Charge smart." But she wasn't done. During community movie night, a blackout hit. My house alone stayed lit. "She hoards power," Linda shrieked, eyes rolled. A neighbour shot back, "He built it." "What's your excuse?" The final straw? Cameras caught her snipping my data line with garden shears, thinking it was power. The air horn trap went off, scaring her into the mulch. I filmed as she stammered, "I was trimming weeds." I pointed to the labelled sensor cable. "Try again, and next time, it's more than noise." I filed a restraining order, proposed an HOA energy boundaries policy, passed unanimously. Even Susan voted yes. Linda skipped the meeting, her Tesla unmoved. A garden gnome perched on its hood, holding a sign, "Respect the juice." The restraining order hit. The HOA reimbursed my damages. A towing company returned her melted Charger, which I mounted in glass labelled, "Steal the sun, get burned." Neighbours took selfies. Kids called it the Spark Trophy. Linda listed her house. No buyers. Her legend scared them off. The city nominated me for a sustainability award. At the ceremony, I said, "Respect your neighbours, respect the grid, never bet against petty." The mayor laughed. My system hummed, untouchable. Linda's empire, dust, her car, toast, her control, gone. I didn't gloat. I built, I defended, and I let the current speak. Because real power isn't stolen, it's earned, wired, protected by truth. And when you mess with the sun, you don't just get shocked, you get burned.